Okay, today we will discuss about the very important stuff in people code. What it is? I can simply say it's a parent and child relationship in people code. Yes, we discussed about the parent and child relationship in pages, records. Whenever we are creating the records, we designed a parent and child relationship in between the records with the help of primary key and foreign key relationship. Whenever we are designing a page with number of levels 0, 1, 2, 3, we used the technique to build the parent and child relationship by using scrolls and grids. Now, why we should use the parent and child relationship in the people code? Why? Because people code is just a people code editor we will write, and we don't have any structure within that. Okay, I am accepting. Now, first what I will do, I will try to execute one code. Let us say, whenever I'm coming on to this page, irrespective of the user, for all the employees, I don't want to display this active push button, active checkbox. Then we know it's coming under general area. That means the first condition, yes, whenever the end user coming on to the page. The second point where we have to write the code, the general area, it is before page display. In before page display, we can prefer pre-build, post-build, or activate. Okay. Next, open the component people code. Here in the post-build, here I'm writing employee table checkbox dot visible equals to false. Now go ahead and check it. It's hiding. It's completely hiding. Now I don't want to display the gender option for the dependent. You know one thing? Active checkbox I hide perfectly without any error by writing the simple statement in the post-build. Now the same type of requirement I'm having. My expectation is I would like to hide the gender option for dependent. Okay. Now you can drag and drop the dependent gender dot visible equals to false. Yes, the same type of statement. People could also saved without any error. Okay, now go ahead and check it. I receive an error. Please read carefully the error. Please read carefully. Get field. Gender not found in scroll level 0. Yes, we all know about it. Gender is in level 1. Dependent gender is in level 1. It's not in level 0. Okay. Where you receive the error? Generally, we receive some errors in the PP code. Where you receive the error, it will clearly guide you. The error statement will clearly guide you. Component, post bill, statement number 4. Open the component, post bill, statement number 4. How can I say it's statement number 4? Control G, statement number 4. The line above the cursor is causing the issue. What it is causing the issue? Okay. The specified field was not found in the indicated scroll level. Have you observed this line? The specified field was not found in the indicated scroll level. Where you indicated? You got my question. Where you indicated the level? We are not indicated the
0.
level. Where you indicated in the people code? Have you indicated it is the level 0 statement? It is a level 1 statement. Geeta, have you indicated?
No,
No.
no.
Then why error message is saying that? This may occur with various people code built-in functions that specify a scroll context via a series of records and a keyboard. Okay, what is this indicated scroll level? Scroll levels 0, 1, 2, 3. Scroll level is nothing but page level. Now, I am hiding this. Sorry, I am removing this statement. I will try to show you something. Whenever I am trying to enter into the component, each and every employee have only one row. Why? Because employee data is in level 0. Whenever I picked employee number 1, always it has only one row in the employee table. That's why active checkbox is hiding without any issue. Now, what you are saying to the system, dependent gender is equal to false. Which dependent? System is asking a question. Which dependent? Why? Because you have two dependents. You have to tell the system clearly, for all the dependents, hide the gender. No, for a series of dependents, hide the gender. No, for a particular dependent, hide the gender. Yes, a simple question. I'm an employee in this organization. Srini is also one more employee in the organization. If you are asking me a question like second dependent age of Venkat, yes, I can answer you, or anybody can answer you. If you're asking me directly, second dependent age, who's second dependent? We need a relationship. We need a relationship here to pick the right data. Who's second dependent? It's mine or Srini. You have to tell the system in a proper way. Venkat, we already built a proper relationship in the record level and page level. Yes, you have to build a proper relationship in the code level also. You build the relationship in the record level, which will help us to store the data properly without any data integrity issues. You build the relationship properly in the page level, which will help us to display the data properly in the online page. You have to build a relationship properly in the code level, which will help us to write the business logic. Yes, it's very important. That's why parent and child relationship in the code also very important. Here, observe carefully. This is the level 0 and level 1 they build. We can replicate our, we can replace our logic here. Level 0 employee ID, level 1 employee ID dependent ID, level 2 employee ID dependent ID and institution ID, like that. We built all the levels. That's what they clearly mentioned. Child record contains all keys of parent record and in addition at least one more key. These four terminologies, these two are very important terminologies in our discussion today. Row set and row. Row set. Row set. This is called row set. Set of rows. Yes, dependent scroll has a set of rows. Employee scroll, only one row. Always one row. Why? Because it's level 0. Level 0, any PeopleSoft component if you open, it has to display only one row. Other than level 0, all other levels, yes, there is a possibility of having more than one row. Venkat, only one row? Yes, it is possible. More than one row? Yes, it is possible. Other than level 0. Set of rows called row set. I am not talking about record. I am talking about scroll. What is the difference? A thin line difference. I'm talking about a scroll, not record. But you can ask me a question, Venkat, scroll is nothing but it will store into one record. Yes, dependent information will store only in one record. Yes. This is record. This is page and this is the scroll. I'm talking about this scroll. Is this scroll is holding one record? If you are saying only one record, I'm not accepting. If you are saying it will hold only one SQL table, yes, I will accept. But it may hold number of records. Records means derived records, SQL tables. Yes, it is holding one derived record also. That is called scroll level. If you are talking about record, yes, it is record. This is also a record, but it might be a derived record, but we can call it as a record. It's a scroll set of rows, row set. A data structure used to describe hierarchical data. It represents scroll on the page, scroll or grid, whatever it may be. Row represents a single row in a component scroll. Row, yes, this is the row. Row number 1, row number 2. It represents a row in a scroll. Record, single instance of data within a row. That's what I showed you so far. In a row, Venkat, it is a push button. Yes, boss, I understood. But it is within the scroll. Even if you are targeting a push button in the code, you need a reference. What is the reference? Derived work record, push button is the field. Yes, that is the reference. That means each and every record is a reference within a scroll. Now, field. Within the record, yes, there are fields. Within the record, 1, 2, 3, 3 fields. In this record, only one field on the page. Like that. These are the 4 terminologies we will use. This is the structure we built. Level 0 row set. Yes, we can call it as a row set, but it has only one row. In that particular row, we have a child row set. Level 0 employee, dependent row set. Dependent number 1, something. We can extend our branch from here. We can extend our branch from here. Here like this. Yes. The same structure you can place here. Sorry. The same structure you can place here. The child row set, row record, like that. Now, how we will write the code? How we will write the code? Okay, we will go ahead and write the code directly. Okay, in the Postgre. Whenever I am targeting the dependent, yes, we are targeting the dependent gender only. In which level it is? It is in the level 1. Yes. What is the parent of level 1? Level 0. That means if I am querying the dependent, I need employee. Simple. Without employee, there is no dependent. I need one employee first. I have to decide which employee logged on. For that particular employee, how many dependents are there? Based on that only, I can build the logic. Here, how many levels are participating? 2 levels. Yes, 2 levels. Declare that local row set ampersand level 1 ampersand level 2. I declare 2 row sets. Okay, better, level 0 and level 1. Level 0 and level 1. I am declaring rows also. Local row, level 0 row, level 1 row. I am done with my declarations. Next, observe carefully. Whenever you are writing a code here, please try to compare your coding structure with your online page. Whenever I am entering into the component, first what I will do, I will pick the employee. I am picking the employee. whenever I pick this employee ID, it will build the component data in the scrolls. That means, first of all, I would like to decide level 0 data. Get level 0, there is a function. Wait 1 second. Get level 0. You know, there is a function available in PeopleSoft. Get level 0. Simple. It's a row set. Into this row set, I'm getting the level 0. Level 0 row. In this row set, we have rows. Get row of 1. You know one thing? Venkat, why are you using a constant? We all of us know in level 0 we have only one row. You know one thing? After execution of these two statements, what will happen? We got the employee information. Yes, we got the employee information to the level 0 row. Yes. Now, whenever I picked the employee, okay, I picked the employee here. Whenever I picked the employee, now I would like to pick the dependents. Venkat, it's level 1. Okay, then get level 1. No, no, there is no such type of function available. Get level 0. Yes, it is available. Get level 1. No. Venkat, why? Why? Because if you observe in your component, how many level 1s are there? 3 level 1s are there. That's why it is not possible to write directly get level 1. Even it's not suggestible. Then what we have to do? One sec. What we have to do? To get the level 1, what is the base? What is the root? Root is employee. Where is employee right now? Here. Already we got employee from here into this level 0 row. Now, Venkat, what we have to do? Get row set of scroll dot. Here you have to give your scroll table, dependent table. Whenever I executed this statement, what will happen, you know? Into this row set, based on this employee ID, for this employee, how many dependents are there in this dependent table will come into this row set. That means, if you pick this employee, for this employee you have 2 dependents in the table. Now, those 2 dependents information will come in this row set. Here we picked the employee. Based on that employee information, we are collecting how many dependents are there in the table with respect to this employee. If I written a query in the database, how I will write the query? Generally, select star from PSGE dependent table where employee ID equals to 01. Here generally I will write the query. You know, this is nothing but here. Whenever I written this query and executing, all the dependents in the dependent table with respect to the employee ID will return. Now here also all the dependents will return with respect to this employee ID, whatever we passed, and all the dependents information will stored in the row set. Now, Venkat, here multiple rows. Yes, here multiple rows. Possibility, yes, 100%. Now, only one row, Venkat. Maybe in future you can add more rows. Yes, you have a privilege to add more rows. Then fine. What we have to do? We need to use a for loop. For ampersand I equals to 1. That means You can use your own variable also, not I, employee, dependent, whatever it is. 1, 2. Where is the count? Here, first row to last row. Where is the count of rows? Here. Dot active row count I will use. 1 to count. If you have 2 rows, 1 to 2 will come. 5 rows in the dependent, 1 to 5 will come. 7 rows, 7. End for, I written end for. Within this, I have to practice. I have to fetch each and every dependent. That means this one. This is the one. Yes, this is the one. In this set of rows, I am checking 1 by 1. For looping means it will check 1 by 1. 1 to 2. Okay, first row I am checking. Then row number I am fetching here of ampersand I. That means what we'll do, whenever I am checking the first dependent, number 1 will come. Second dependent, number 2 will come. Now, in my scenario, I would like to hide the gender for all of the dependents. Okay, then in this particular row, even it's a first row or second row, get record of which table? Dependent table. Record dot G dependent table dot get field of field dot gender field name G gender. Okay, gender dot visible equals to false. This is the way we have to write the code. Now go ahead and try to execute the code. Now it is hidden. First dependent, second dependent, it is hidden. We written code in the post build, it successfully fired. Now I will explain you now itself. I will explain you with some more technique about this code. Now I am asking you a question. We successfully hidden the gender for both of them, both of the dependents. Now, if I click add a new row, gender option will be displayed for the dependent 3 or not?
Yes.
How we hidden, right?
Yeah, but we hid it only for those rows.
Where you written we hide only for the existing rows,
So,
don't hide for the new row.
because it's in post build,
Uh,
so it will execute only for the existing rows.
you know, Geeta, you answered, you answered
Yeah.
perfectly, but at the end of the answer, you made it wrong. You written in the post field, that is the correct answer. But what you are saying, it will execute for only the existing rows. Here, post build will fired already.
Yeah.
You are on the page. How the post build will fire again? What my point? You are on the page. Post build is already fired. Whenever you clicked on add a new row, post build will fire or not? No. Got my point?
Mm,
No, no, that's why
yeah.
I'm saying your answer is perfect, but you have to answer in this way. Post build is already fired. It won't fire again.
Hmm.
Got it, my point?
So the code won't fire again.
Code won't fire again. Why it won't fire again? Why? Because the post build is one-time firing at the time of entering into the component. Once you are on the page,
Hmm.
it won't fire again.
Hmm.
Okay. Now try to decide. Okay, dependent. Third dependent I added. Whenever I am coming back for the dependent number 3, it will display or not? Here, gender.
Yeah.
It will display?
No, it won't display.
It won't
No.
display. Why? Because post will fired again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, everybody will have a little confusion here. What is this row set? How it is firing? What's happening in the backend? Okay, I'll do one thing. I will write some win messages. Win message, employee ID. Which employee ID I chosen? Employee ID we can directly place it as. Why? Because it's a level 0 field, dot value. Now, for this employee ID, entering dependent for loop. One more win message, entered dependent for loop. Okay, which dependent I am examining. Okay, row count. Row count will come from this variable. Which row number you are targeting right now. Next, which dependent you are targeting? Dependent number, dependent ID, something like this, dependent ID. Okay, you have to write this entire logic again. Here. Here you have to write the BN ID. Okay, BN ID. Dot value. Now, we'll do one thing. We'll try to fire the messages. You know one thing, this code will error out. Why? Because of this message. Why? Can you guess it? Anybody? This message will retrieve the error for you. I'm sure. Why? Any guess? What is this? Level 1 row. Where is the value coming into the level 1 row? Bottom of this message. You are trying to use this before getting the value. Now, okay, try to execute first. Employee number 1 we picked up. The first win message we encountered. Entering dependent for loop. Here we are. Enter dependent for loop. Count number 1 we are selecting. We are checking the first. Have you observed? First operand of dot is null, so cannot access member record. Statement number 9 is causing the issue. Statement number 9, Control G. Statement number 9. Above the cursor, I told you, above the cursor, this is the line causing the issue. What is the error we are getting? First operand of dot is null. Here it is not getting any value. There is no value in that. Why? Why? Because level 1 row assignment done after this statement. If you write this one message after this statement, it will perfect. All of you got my point, or any questions or any doubt here?
Yeah, got it.
Got it. Now we will try to fire the messages again. Employee 1. Okay, here we are. dependent for loop. Okay, here we are in the code. Enter the dependent for loop. Okay, now we entered the for loop of the dependents. Row number 1, we are examining. Still it is not getting. One sec. Something is missing. Level 1 row we have to place, not level 0 row. Okay, employee ID, for loop, first row, dependent is 01, we are getting. Now all the win messages are filed as per our expectations. Now tell me, if I click on OK, I can enter into the component. Am I right? All the win messages are filed.
No, the for loop will continue.
What?
So you will see the next messages.
What message I can see now? Tell me.
So the enter dependent for loop,
How
row
many times
count,
it
and
will run?
dependent. However many rows you have, like here 2, I think. Employee ID 1 has 2 dependent.
Okay,
Then
no problem.
2.
Your answer is perfect. It's entered the dependent for loop again. Why? Because it has more rows in this row set now. If you execute this query in the database, you will get 3 rows. 3 dependents are there. Enter the dependent for loop again. Row number 2, it is examining. Dependent 2. Enter the dependent for loop again. Row number 3, it is checking. Dependent 3, it is checking. Okay, now you see. Now, if I'm asking you a question, Geeta, I don't want to see, I don't want to hide the gender for all of the dependents. I would like to hide the gender for the dependent too. Then what you will do? Any one of you can answer.
You can use %I in the for loop and check.
No, tell me,
Using
where can I write the logic?
So depending on the dependent ID, you want to hide the gender, right? So you have dependent ID value.
Where?
In your win message, you are showing it, so you can capture that value.
Now tell me,
in a variable.
Where should I write the code? What code I have to write?
Oh, I think the code. You can. Oh, okay.
Maybe I can say, I think I equal to the 2, level 2. I equal to the 2 and hide that value. Like you are matching the I equal to 2, then you can put the hide the gender. That's correct?
Yes, that is one solution. Otherwise, you can simply write if condition, right? If value equals to D02, any constant you are passing. What my point?
Okay.
No. That means any static entry you would like to perform, you can do. Why? Because you know the entry. Otherwise, as you said, Srini, yes, you can hide based on the count also, row count. You know one thing? If you are trying to get the value from level 1 in the people code, this is the logic you have to write. There is no other possibility. There is no other possibility. Now, I would like to hide institution name from the level 2. Institution name from the level 2. Now tell me, what are all the changes I have to make in the code? Please guide me. No problem even it's a right or wrong. No problem.
Then row set we need to add level 2. Ampersand level 2.
Is it? Okay, one second. Ampersand. Okay, one sec. Ampersand level 2. Okay.
No. Actually, it's institution is in level
2.
2 only, okay.
Okay, level 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Need to add row, level 2 row.
Okay.
Level 2 row.
Row. Okay. Next.
And ampersand level 1 row is equals to in the ampersand level 1 dot get row.
Where should I write it? First point. Where should I start the coding?
Down the, I mean, in 5th line.
Here?
After the 4th. No, before the win message.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tell me.
Level 1 underscore row. Is equals to
first tell me, why are you writing level 1 row here?
No.
Tell me.
No, not there actually. After level 1 and I mean
here?
Yeah, after 6th line, yeah.
Okay. Why are you writing here? You don't have any value in the level 1 row as of now? We have here, right? We already have the value.
Yeah. Not underscore row here. Level 2 is equals to.
Okay. Level 2 equals to. Okay, no problem, Pranita. Any other ideas?
Here we need to write if condition for if condition actually.
No.
Because we have multiple rows in level 1.
You are on the page now. Okay. Multiple rows in the level 1. Okay.
If.
Why if?
No, sorry, for.
Where I have
same for loop.
Where should I write it?
In for loop.
Okay. You tried well, Pranita. Geeta, any guesses from your side?
You can make use of the same for loop you have used for getting a dependent.
Where should I start the coding for? Where should I
start inside the for loop, that ampersand level 2 equal to?
Where should I? In which line? Tell me.
So
9th line.
For loop,
Here?
yeah, and then
yeah,
hold on.
Yeah, there.
Oh, hold on. The ampersand level 1 underscore row beyond under that.
Yeah.
Here?
So before win message, yeah.
Why here?
Because one dependent can have multiple, what is that? Institutions, yeah.
There you are. Here you have to write. Why? Because simply, that's why I told you. Whenever you are getting any doubt, go to the front end, observe the structure, level 1. Education is inside the level 1, right? This is the education scroll. Second scroll, it is inside the dependent. Observe one thing, whenever I am moving the dependent, education information is also changing. Why? Because it's based on that. Here the education information is changing for the dependents. Got my point now? Now you have to write the logic. Do one thing. What I have to write? You know one thing? You can simply copy and paste the same logic here. Okay, better to before the infer to avoid confusion. Okay, change the numbers, level 2, level 1 row, level 2 row, sorry, level 1 row, get row set of institutions from. Okay, now start the for loop. The same type of for loop statement, but better to use some different variable. J equal to 1. Here change the number. Close the for loop. Within the for loop, the same statement. Level 2 row, level 2 of J, again the same statement. Level 2 row, INS table, field is not gender, it's the institution name. Where it is? Okay, here in the institution table, institution name visible equal to false. You know one thing? This is closing the for loop of the institution. This is closing the for loop of the dependents. Now, I am writing the same win message styles for the institutions also. Entering education for loop. Entered education for loop. Row count. Ampersand J. We are done. Now, just observe carefully. I am coming into the component again. First, it is picking the win message 01 dependent for loop. It's entered the dependent for loop. Here we are right now. Row count 1. It's picked up the first dependent. D01 it's picked up. Okay. What it will do? Which win message will fire next? It will go for the next dependent. First, it will complete the loop of the dependents. Is it going to complete the loop of the dependents first?
No.
No,
it will
not at
go
all.
in the
Institution. Entering education for loop. Why? Because this dependent, the first dependent we are examining, the first dependent may have number of educations. Education. Enter the education for loop. Row count 1. Education for loop again. Row count 2. Enter dependent for loop. Why? Because the first dependent have only 2 educations. Then 2 educations loop completed for that dependent. Then it's go back. Enter dependent for loop again. Second dependent, dependent 02. Entering education for loop. Entered education for loop. Education row count 1. Entered education for loop. Education row count 2. All these are for the dependent number 2. Next, again it's looping for the dependent. Here it came again. Row count 3, that means dependent number 3. D03. It's entered into the education for loop for the third dependent. Entered education for loop, row count 1. We are done. In this way, the code is behaving. In this way, the code is executing in the backend. You can place as many win messages as you can to check the code flow. That means earlier we used win message to understand the code firing. That means to check we simply used it as a message. Now we are using it as a debugging. We're checking. Any question?
So Venkat, so win message is the only way to debug Peoplecode.
Have you read the win message function?
Huh?
Have you read about the win message function in the people books?
No.
Go ahead and read it. You will have to prepare the Excel sheet, spreadsheet, what I suggested you. Win message, whenever you are practicing the win message, similar functions. Go ahead and practice. There you will get the answer.
So there is no other debugging method?
I don't say like that. What I told you, go ahead and read about the win message. There you will get the answer. It's the only debugging function.
Okay.
It's not the only debugging function. Yes or no, you will get all of the answers in that discussion. You have to practice,
so there
otherwise nothing.
Is there a concept like breakpoint in this?
What is breakpoint?
Like in Java or C++, just like what when we step through the code.
Gita ma'am, I don't know anything about other than Peoplecode. Simply honest.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They may use Java. We used some JavaScripting technique in one requirement. I will tell you in the later in the upcoming discussions. Whenever we are dealing with some special topics, there I will explain you. Yes, the situation occurs in my practice. Even I don't know anything about JavaScript, but I took support from the Java team to complete the requirement.
Okay.
Sometimes users may ask some different outputs, which are not possible via the Peoplecode directly. Yes, some scenarios may occur. Okay. Any other questions? If anybody is asking in interviews, I would like to get the data from level 2. What is the technique? This is the technique. There is no other technique involved. There is no other technique available in the Peoplecode, in PeopleSoft. Why? Because if you are expecting the level 2 data, first you need level 0. Based on that level 1, based on that only you have to get the level 2. If I'm asking now the location city is invisible, then you have to add the same level 3 row, so blah blah blah. This much of code you written. Whenever I am writing the code, if I am writing the same code, I won't use all these. Here itself I will write get level 0 of 1. Direct method. I don't want to use level 0 row. I don't want to use level 0 row, level 1 row concept. Instead of using level 1 row as a variable, I will directly use this as a value here itself. Here itself. Next. Here itself. Next. That means some changes, minor changes. I removed what? Level 0 row, level 1 row, level 2 row, up. Those concepts I removed. But instead of that, what I used, here we use level 1 row equals to level 1 of j, level 1 of I. Simply using the same directly instead of using level 1 row, level 2 row. Get level 0, I can use directly here. No need to declare a row set for level 0. Why? Because there is no row set required for level 0. Venkat, if I am writing code in this way, anybody can question? No, nobody will question you. This is the standard methodology to write the code. But once you are practicing, you may understood something, some basic stuff we can remove. This is that level of coding. But please practice it once or twice or thrice. How many times you can do that? Why? Because without knowing this code, without knowing this technique, the parent and child relationship, one thing, it has number of names. Parent and child relationship in Peoplecode, traversing Peoplecode, row set Peoplecode, Multiple levels in people code. Nothing. Same. Technique is same. I am ready to explain one more time. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Now you explained for single level 1 and single level 2, right? If we have multiple level 1s or level 2s, then how
Good
we
question.
write this?
Then simply here what level it is? Dependent level 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, we have one more level 1, that is NID. Here, NID table.
So we have to go through the name of the level 1.
The main table in the level 1 scroll, that is important. Is it answer your question, Pranita?
I didn't get actually.
No. Here you have multiple level 1s. You asked me, yes, I written code for multiple level 1s here. Then you have to create one more for loop for this level 1.
Okay.
The same, yes, you got it out. Go ahead. Here you can check. Hey, this is logic is completed here. Observe carefully. This logic, this chain is completed here. It's different chain. You have to write a different for loop.
So if we have more than 10 or any 10 or 15 level 1s, even though for higher number we need to go one by one.
And that's it.
Okay.
There is no other technique. That's what I'm saying. Anybody is asking, can I get the data from level 2 directly? No, it is not possible. If you are asking about level 2, must and should be there is a level 1 for that. If you are talking about level 1, there is must and should be a level 0 for that. You have to go from parent, child, subchild, like that.
Can't we write for loop for multiple level 1s?
How do you write? That's what I'm asking. How do you write? Tell me. Do you have any idea about it? That's what I'm saying, Ma. Like here, employee have salary, employee have dependent, employee have national ID. These three relations we build in our component, right? In our component, we build three relationships for the employee. Direct relationship. Employee has dependents, employee has national ID, employee has salary. Now, how do we mix all these three relationships into one loop? It can't possible. You got my point now?
Yeah. Yeah, got it.
Employee have number of dependents, employee have number of national IDs, employee have number of salaries. But here one common point is employee.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm appreciating you. It's a very good question.
Okay. Yeah.
Why? Because in Peoplecode interviews, they target you mostly on this coding, rosette coding. Okay, Srini, do you have any questions regarding this?
Because actually I did not follow much. Actually, maybe I had to listen one more time.
No problem, Srini.
Because,
please go ahead. Try to understood. If you are not in a position to understood, I'm ready to explain one more time tomorrow. Why? Because it has that much of importance. We are going to use the same technique in the app engine logic. We are going to use the same technique in the component interface coding, packages, IB, everywhere we will use this type of technique. That's why.
Okay. And what is the, because I had to listen many number of times, then only I can follow, I think it looked like, because
code looks like it's a complex code, but it's not that much of complex. Whenever you understood the page structure and component structure, it will be very easy. Just whenever you're writing the code, you are getting it out. Think in general. You're getting dependents. You need a base for that. What is the base? Employee. Without employee detail, there is no dependent detail. Okay, you got the dependent. Okay. Every dependent has multiple education information. Education information you are getting. Education information you are getting in the sense you need the dependent ID.
Okay.
Already you got the dependent ID. Based on that, you are moving into the dependent educations. That is why I written the win messages also. You can write the same in your machine and come to me. If you have any doubt, not a problem, come to me. We will have one more discussion on this.
Okay.
It's very important.